Commander Jack Mason stared at the main screen of the Earth Alliance vessel Intrepid *. The blackness of space stretched before him, dotted with distant stars. His patrol route along the outer colonies had been quiet for the past 3 weeks. Too quiet. "Status report," Jack said, his voice breaking the silence on the bridge. Lieutenant Sam Miller looked up from his console. "All systems normal, Commander. We're approaching the edge of the Arcturus sector. Nothing unusual on scanners." Jack nodded and ran a hand through his short brown hair. 6 years in deep space had taught him that nothing unusual often preceded trouble. Earth had only been part of the galactic community for 30 years, and humans were still considered unpredictable newcomers by most alien species. "Commander, I'm picking up something," called Kate Johnson from the sensor station. Her fingers moved quickly across the display. "There's a vessel drifting at coordinates 227 Mark 43. It's not matching any Earth Alliance signatures." Jack stood up. "Put it on screen and magnify." The main display flickered, showing a sleek, dark ship. Its hull was marked with what looked like burn patterns, and a section near what might be the engine was torn open. "Any life signs?" Jack asked. Dr. Lisa Grant, who had been quietly observing from her station, checked her readings. "One faint biosignature, not human, and not matching any species in our database." "That's impossible," Sam said. "The Galactic Council requires all spacefaring species to register their biological data. Unless it's a species the Council doesn't want us to know about," Jack said softly. The communications panel beeped. "Incoming message from Galactic Council Outpost Theta," announced Ben Wright, the communications officer. A blue-skinned alien appeared on screen. "Earth Vessel Intrepid *. This is Council Representative Zorn. We have detected the damaged ship in your vicinity. You are ordered to maintain distance and await Council intervention. Do not, under any circumstances, board that vessel." Jack frowned. "May I ask why, Representative?" "There appears to be a survivor on board who needs medical attention." The alien's 4 eyes blinked rapidly in what Jack had learned was a sign of agitation. "The vessel belongs to the Vraxian Empire. They are not compatible with humans. Both of your species come from what the Council classifies as Deathworlds. The combination would be problematic." After the transmission ended, Jack turned to his senior staff. "Deathworlders. What does that mean?" Lisa looked up from her console. "It's a term I've heard whispered at xenobiology conferences. It refers to species that evolved on planets with extreme conditions and predators. Earth is apparently considered one. And now we found another," Jack said, looking at the damaged ship. The bridge fell silent as the crew waited for his decision. "Prepare a rescue team," Jack finally said. "Full environmental suits and security protocols." Sam stepped forward. "Commander, the Council explicitly ordered." "I know what they ordered," Jack interrupted. "But I'm not leaving someone to die. Council politics be damned. If this were a human ship, we'd want someone to help." 20 minutes later, Jack led the rescue team through the airlock of the alien vessel. The interior was dark, with only their suit lights illuminating the way. The architecture was angular and efficient, with no decorations or wasted space. "Life sign is ahead," Lisa said, checking her scanner. "Growing weaker." They found the survivor in what appeared to be the command center. A humanoid figure lay slumped against a console. Jack somehow knew, was tall and lean, with pale gray skin and a ridge of small spines running from the top of her head down her neck. Her breathing was shallow, and dark purple blood seeped from a wound in her side. Her eyes snapped open as they approached, startling yellow with vertical pupils. She snarled, revealing sharp teeth, and despite her injuries, she reached for a weapon at her side. Jack raised his hand slowly. "We're here to help," he said, though he knew she couldn't understand him. The alien warrior stared at him, eyes narrowing in what might have been confusion or suspicion. Then she collapsed forward. As they carried her back to the Intrepid *, Jack's communicator beeped insistently with incoming council messages. all carried the same warning: return the fraction immediately. When two Deathworlders cross paths, the galaxy holds its breath. The medical bay of the Intrepid was quiet except for the soft beeping of machines. Dr. Lisa Grant checked the readings on the alien patient for the 5th time in an hour. The Vraxian female lay on the bed, her gray skin now cleaned of purple blood, her wounds sealed with regenerative gel. "Any changes?" Jack asked as he walked in. Lisa shook her head. "Her biology is fascinating. Her body is already healing at a rate that would be impossible for humans. I've never seen cellular regeneration like this." Jack stepped closer to look at the alien warrior. Up close, he could see faint patterns on her skin that looked like natural camouflage. Her breathing was stronger now. "The Council is not happy," Jack said. "They've sent a representative who will arrive in 6 hours. Apparently, we've created a diplomatic incident." "Because we saved her life?" Lisa asked. "Because humans aren't supposed to know the Vraxians exist," Jack replied. "According to the little information I could get, they're from a planet called Vrax. It's supposed to be even more dangerous than Earth." The alien's yellow eyes suddenly opened. In one fluid motion, she grabbed Jack's wrist and pulled him down, her other hand moving to his throat. "Kira Vanar Korel," she growled, her vertical pupils narrowing to thin slits. Jack remained still, making no attempt to free himself. "We rescued you from your damaged ship," he said calmly. "You're safe here." Lisa quickly grabbed a universal translator from the counter and held it near them. After a moment of processing the alien language, it began to work. "Where am I? Who are you?" came the translated voice, still aggressive, but now understandable. "I'm Commander Jack Mason of the Earth Alliance vessel Intrepid *. This is our doctor, Lisa Grant. Your ship was damaged. We brought you here for medical treatment." The Vraxian's grip didn't loosen. "Earth, the other death world," she said slowly. "The Galactic Council forbids contact between our kinds. We don't abandon people in need, regardless of what the Council says," Jack replied. Something like surprise flickered across the alien's face. She released him and sat up, wincing slightly. "I am Kira, Scout Commander of the Vraxian Empire," she said. "My ship was attacked by Syndicate vessels." "The Syndicate?" Lisa asked. "A coalition of species that serve as the Council's enforcers," Kira explained, her voice filled with contempt. "They ensure that certain rules are followed, like keeping humans and Vraxians apart." The door to the medical bay slid open, and Sam Miller entered. "Commander, we've analyzed the debris field around the Vraxian vessel. The weapons signatures match official Galactic Council peacekeeping ships." Jack and Kira exchanged looks. "The Council claims the Syndicate are rogue elements," Jack said, "but they're actually doing the Council's dirty work." Kira nodded. "My mission was to investigate rumors of Council involvement in attacks on our outer colonies. It seems I found my answer." The ship's intercom activated. "Commander Mason to the bridge," came Ben Wright's voice. "We're receiving multiple approaching vessels. They're not responding to hails." Jack turned to leave, but Kira swung her legs off the bed and stood. "I'm coming with you," she said. "If these are Syndicate ships, you'll need my help." Lisa stepped forward. "You're still recovering." "My body can handle it," Kira cut her off. "Your weapons won't be calibrated for Syndicate shields. I can help." Jack studied the Vraxian warrior. Everything he'd been taught said he should keep her confined, that two Deathworlders working together was dangerous. But his instincts told him something different. "Follow me," he decided. On the bridge, the tension was thick as the crew watched 5 sleek vessels approach, their designs unlike anything in Earth Alliance records. "Receiving transmission," Ben announced. The main screen activated, showing a thin, pale alien with large black eyes. "Earth vessel, this is Galactic Council Representative Alan Peters. Surrender the Vraxian immediately, or we will be forced to take action. For the safety of the galaxy, Two Deathworlders cannot be allowed to join forces. Jack stood firm on the bridge of the Intrepid facing the image of Alan Peters on the screen. The man looked human, but something about his movements seemed off, unnatural. Representative Peters, Jack said, the Vraxian commander is under my protection. She was attacked by Syndicate ships using Council weapons. We demand an explanation. Peters smiled thinly. Commander Mason, you're new to galactic politics. There are forces at work beyond your understanding. The separation of Deathworld species is for the greater good. Kira stepped forward. Her yellow eyes narrowed. You mean for your control. The Council fears what would happen if humans and Vraxians discovered each other. You have 1 hour to surrender the Vraxian, Peters said, ignoring her words, or we will be forced to board your vessel. The screen went dark. Battle stations, Jack ordered immediately. Sam, what are our chances against those ships? The lieutenant looked grim. Not good, Commander. Their technology is more advanced than ours. Kira moved to a console. May I? She asked. Jack nodded, and she quickly entered a series of codes. These are the shield frequencies of Syndicate vessels, she explained. And their weapons have a weakness. If you adjust your phasers to this modulation, you can penetrate their defenses. Why would you help us? Lisa asked from her station. Kira looked at her. Because the Council has lied to both our peoples, and because your commander saved my life when your Council would have let me die. Jack studied the tactical display. Even with this information, we're outnumbered. We need to buy time. Time for what? Sam asked. To get a message to both Earth Alliance and the Vraxian Empire, Jack replied. Ben, can you establish a secure channel that the Council can't detect? The communications officer frowned. Maybe, if I route it through the damaged Vraxian ship, its systems are still partially functional, and the Council might not be monitoring it. Do it, Jack ordered. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. They're firing on us, Sam shouted. Shields at 80%. Return fire, Jack commanded. Use Kira's modifications. The Intrepid fired back, and one of the Syndicate ship's shields flickered. It's working, Sam said with surprise. Their forward shields are weakening. Another blast rocked the ship, harder this time. Sparks flew from a nearby console. They're targeting our engines, Kira observed. Standard Syndicate tactic. They want to disable us, not destroy us. The ship shook again. Emergency lights activated, bathing the bridge in red. Shields at 40%, Sam reported. We can't take much more of this. Ben, status on that message, Jack asked. Almost ready, but I need more time. Jack looked at Kira. Any Vraxian tactics you can suggest? A slow smile spread across Kira's face, showing her sharp teeth. Actually, yes. On my world, sometimes the best defense is a strong offense. I was hoping you'd say that, Jack replied. Sam, prepare to divert all power to forward shields and weapons. We're going to charge directly at the lid ship. That's suicide, Lisa exclaimed. Not for Deathworlders, Kira said confidently. The Intrepid surged forward, taking hits but focusing all its firepower on the lid Syndicate vessel. The enemy ship tried to veer away, but Jack anticipated the move. Fire everything we've got, he ordered. The Syndicate ship's shields collapsed under the concentrated assault, and the Intrepid's weapons tore into its hull. Explosions rippled across the enemy vessel. Their formation is breaking, Sam reported, unable to hide his excitement. They didn't expect us to attack. Message away, Ben announced. I send our coordinates and situation to both Earth Alliance Command and the Vraxian Empire. Peter's face appeared on screen again, his human facade slipping to reveal alien features beneath. You've made a grave mistake, Commander. The Council has maintained galactic peace for thousands of years by keeping Deathworlders separate. Do you know what happens when two apex predator species join forces? Jack glanced at Kira, who stood tall beside him despite her injuries. "We're about to find out," he answered as the Intrepid continued its attack. Smoke filled the bridge of the Intrepid as Jack pulled himself up from the floor. The battle had been fierce. They had managed to disable 2 Syndicate ships, but the cost was high. The Intrepid was now drifting, its engines dead. "Status report," Jack called out, helping Sam back to his station. "Main power is offline. Life support running on emergency backup," Sam replied, wiping blood from a cut on his forehead. "Engines are completely disabled." "Casualties?" Jack asked, dreading the answer. Lisa checked her medical scanner. 12 injured, 3 critical. "No deaths yet, but I need to get to medical bay." "Go," Jack nodded. He turned to see Kira examining a tactical display. Despite taking a hit during the battle that would have incapacitated a human, the Vraxian was still on her feet. "The Syndicate vessels are regrouping," she said. "They're damaged, but still operational. They'll be back." Ben looked up from his damaged console. "Commander, before communications went down, I detected a partial response to our message. A Vraxian battle cruiser acknowledged receipt. They're on their way, but it will take at least 12 hours. "We don't have 12 hours, Jack said grimly. He looked out the view screen at the swirling gases of a nearby nebula. "Where are we?" Sam checked their position. "We've drifted into the edge of the Cygnus Nebula. The nebula is interfering with sensors and communications." Jack's eyes lit up. "That could work to our advantage. Can we move deeper into the nebula using maneuvering thrusters?" "Barely," Sam answered, "but it might buy us some time." "Do it," Jack ordered. He turned to Kira. "The nebula will hide us from their sensors, just as it blocks ours." Kira nodded in understanding. "On my world, predators often use dust storms to mask their approach. Good strategy." Using the last of their thruster power, the Intrepid limped deeper into the nebula. Swirling gases enveloped the ship, hiding it from sight. "Thrusters are now offline," Sam reported. "We're completely dead in space." Jack called a meeting of his senior staff in what remained of the conference room. Parts of the ceiling had collapsed, and emergency lighting cast long shadows. "We need to repair the engines before the Syndicate finds us, or our air runs out," Jack said. "How long do we have?" "Life support can last 72 hours on emergency power," Lisa said, "but temperature control is failing. It's going to get very cold in here." "The cold won't bother me," Kira commented. "Vrax has regions where temperatures drop to freezing for months. Humans can handle cold too," Jack replied with a small smile. "Maybe not as well as you, but we're adaptable." "I might be able to get partial engine power back online," Sam offered. "But I need parts from the damaged sections of the ship." "That area is exposed to space," Ben pointed out. "I'll go," Kira volunteered. "My species can survive in vacuum for short periods." Everyone stared at her. 6 minutes, to be exact, she added. "Our skin can seal temporarily against vacuum." Jack shook his head in amazement. "No wonder the Council kept our species apart. We're both built to survive." "I'll go with her," Jack decided. 2 are better than 1, and I can handle an EVA suit. As they prepared for the dangerous mission, Alan Peters' words echoed in Jack's mind. "Duh. You know what happens when 2 apex predator species join forces?" Jack was beginning to understand. Humans had evolved on a world that tried to kill them daily. Vraxians had done the same. Both species had not just survived, but thrived in conditions that would kill most sentient beings. Together, they might be unstoppable. An hour later, Jack and Kira floated outside the ship, working to retrieve the parts needed for repairs. The nebula gases swirled around them in beautiful, deadly patterns. "Movement detected," Kira suddenly said, her enhanced vision catching what Jack couldn't see. "Syndicate ships approaching, using the nebula currents to mask their signatures." Jack's heart sank. "We're out of time." Jack and Kira rushed back to the airlock. carrying the salvaged engine parts. Through the swirling gases of the nebula, they could make out the shapes of approaching Syndicate vessels. "We have minutes at most," Jack said as they cycled through the airlock. "Sam, we got the parts. How fast can you install them?" Sam took the components, examining them quickly. 20 minutes, maybe 15 if I skip safety protocols." "You have 10, Jack replied grimly. "Everyone else, prepare for boarders. They'll try to capture Kira and me alive. The rest of you," he didn't finish the sentence. They all knew what the Syndicate would do to witnesses. Kira placed a hand on Jack's shoulder. "There's another option. The nebula is rich in volatile gases. If we could ignite them, we create a chain reaction." Jack realized. It might disable the Syndicate ships long enough for us to escape, or destroy us all, Lisa pointed out. "Better than capture," Kira responded. "I've seen what the Syndicate does to prisoners." Jack nodded. "We'll set it as a last resort. Ben, rig the forward phase emitters to create a spark burst on my command." As Sam worked frantically on the engines, Jack and Kira distributed weapons to the crew. The standard-issue Earth Alliance phasers seemed small in Kira's hands. "These won't stop a Syndicate soldier," she commented. "Then aim for their eyes," Jack replied. "Deathworlders adapt." A small smile crossed Kira's face, just like on Vrax. "When hunting Shriek beasts, we aim for the sensory organs." A loud clang echoed through the ship. "They've attached to the hull," Ben called out, cutting through on Deck 3. "Sam," Jack questioned urgently. 2 more minutes," he shouted back, hands moving quickly over the engine components. "We don't have 2 minutes." Jack turned to Kira. "Let's give our visitors a proper Deathworlder welcome." They moved to Deck 3, positioning themselves on either side of the corridor where the Syndicate troops would enter. The sound of cutting tools grew louder, and then a circular piece of hull plating fell to the floor with a crash. 3 Syndicate soldiers in full battle armor jumped through the hole. They were tall, thin beings with 4 arms, each holding a different weapon. Their helmets had multiple eye slits to accommodate their cluster eyes. Jack nodded to Kira. They fired simultaneously, aiming for the eye slits. 2 soldiers staggered back, but their armor protected them from serious damage. The third fired a stun web that Jack barely dodged. "Their armor is too strong," Jack shouted. Kira dropped her phaser and pulled a small device from her belt. "Stand back," she yelled, activating it and throwing it at the Syndicate troops. The device exploded with a blinding flash, overloading the visual sensors in the soldiers' helmets. As the soldiers clawed at their helmets in confusion, Jack and Kira attacked. What followed shocked even the hardened Earth Alliance crew watching from further down the corridor. Both human and Vraxian moved with speed and precision that seemed impossible, finding weak points in the advanced armor and exploiting them without mercy. In less than a minute, 3 Syndicate soldiers lay unconscious or dead. "Engines online." Sam's voice came through the comm system. 20% power, but it's the best I can do." "Get us out of here," Jack ordered, breathing hard from the fight. The Intrepid Asterisk shuddered as its damaged engines came to life. Slowly, the ship began to move deeper into the nebula. "More Syndicate ships approaching," Ben reported. "They're launching boarding pods." "Not today," Jack said. "Ben, ignite the nebula gases. Now." A pulse of energy shot from the ship into the surrounding gases. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a flash of light erupted, spreading outward in a wave of fire that engulfed the Syndicate ships. The shockwave hit the Intrepid Asterisk, tossing everyone to the floor. Warning alarms blared throughout the ship. When Jack managed to stand again, he looked at the view screen. Through breaks in the burning gases, he could see the Syndicate ships tumbling away, their systems overloaded by the explosion. "We did it," he breathed. Kira joined him at the view screen. "For now, but we've just confirmed their worst fears." "What's that?" Lisa asked. That Deathworlders together are more dangerous than either species alone, Kira replied. The Council will never stop hunting us now. The intrepid asterisk drifted through the outer edges of the nebula, its damaged engines struggling to maintain even minimal power. Inside, the crew worked tirelessly to repair what they could. The temperature had dropped significantly, and most crew members now wore thermal suits. Jack entered the makeshift command center they had established in the cargo bay after the bridge was damaged. Lisa, Sam, and Ben were huddled around a portable heater, while Kira stood apart, seemingly unbothered by the cold. "Status report," Jack said, his breath visible in the chilled air. "Communications are partially restored," Ben replied. "I've been able to boost the signal, but there's still too much interference from the nebula to reach Earth Alliance or Vraxian space. Engines are stable at 25%, Sam added. "I've rerouted power from non-essential systems. We can move, but not quickly." Lisa looked up from her medical scanner. "2 more crew members are showing signs of hypothermia. We need to restore heat to the living quarters soon." Jack nodded, processing the information. "And the Syndicate ships?" 3 vessels are maintaining position at the nebula's edge," Ben said. "They're waiting for us to leave our cover." "Like hunters waiting for prey to emerge from hiding," Kira observed. "It's what I would do." Jack studied the tactical display. "We can't stay here forever, and we can't fight our way past them. We need a third option." Kira stepped forward, pointing to a section of the nebula. "There, the gas density is lower, and there appears to be a gravitational anomaly. It might be a way out." "Or a trap," Sam warned. "Gravitational anomalies are unpredictable. On my world, sometimes the greatest danger offers the only path to survival," Kira said. "Vraxians learned this lesson early." "Humans have a similar saying," Jack replied. "Sometimes you have to risk everything to gain anything." He made his decision. Set course for the anomaly. Best speed. As the intrepid asterisk moved deeper into the nebula, the sensors began to detect something strange. "Commander, I'm picking up artificial structures ahead," Ben reported with surprise. "They're massive, and they appear to be ancient." The view screen activated, showing enormous ring-shaped constructions floating in space. They were clearly built by an advanced civilization, but showed signs of extreme age. "What are they?" Lisa asked in wonder. "Unknown," Ben replied. "But they're generating the gravitational distortion we detected." "Can we communicate with them?" Jack asked. "They're not alive, Commander," Ben clarified. "They're structures, technology. And they've been here for, well, according to these readings, possibly millions of years." The intrepid asterisk approached the nearest ring structure. As they drew closer, energy patterns began to flow across its surface. "It's activating," Sam exclaimed. "It's responding to our presence." A beam of light shot out from the ring, scanning the ship. Then, to everyone's shock, a holographic image appeared in the center of the cargo bay. It showed 2 humanoid figures, one clearly human-like, the other resembling a Vraxian. "What is this?" Jack wondered aloud. Kira stepped toward the hologram, her eyes wide. "These are the architects, the ones spoken of in our oldest legends, the ones who made us." The holographic figures spoke in unison, their words automatically translated. "Protocol activated. Deathworld species conjunction detected. Genetic experiment subjects Earth-17 and Vrax-23 have achieved contact. Contingency protocols enabled. Genetic experiment subjects." Lisa repeated in disbelief. The hologram continued. "This facility was constructed to monitor the development of biological weapons designed for eventual conflict with the Harvesters. Human and Vraxian species were engineered as complementary combat units designed to work in tandem. The Council of Lesser Species was assigned caretaker status with strict orders to keep subjects separate until full maturation." Jack and Kira exchanged shocked looks. "We were created as weapons," Jack said slowly. "Weapons meant to work together. And the Galactic Council has been keeping us apart, against their original orders, Kira added. They feared what we would become. The hologram flickered. Warning. Council vessels approaching. Defense systems activating. Around them, the ancient station hummed to life, awakening after millions of years of dormancy. The ancient station hummed with power as systems dormant for millions of years came to life. Through the view screen, Jack and the crew watched in awe as energy fields spread between the massive ring structures. The station is creating some kind of defensive barrier, Sam said, checking the readings. Syndicate ships are being pushed back by the energy field. The holographic architect spoke again. Access to historical archives granted to genetic subjects. Tactical systems online. Communication array activated. Ben's console suddenly lit up with new information. Commander, I'm getting access to a communication network that spans the entire galaxy. It's bypassing the Council's systems completely. Jack stepped forward. Can we send messages to Earth and Vrax? Yes, sir. And not just messages. We can transmit all the data from the Architect's archives. Jack looked at Kira, who nodded in agreement. Do it. Send everything. Both our peoples deserve to know the truth. As Ben worked to transmit the data, Lisa studied the holographic display. According to this, humans and Vraxians were designed to complement each other. Where one species has a weakness, the other has strength. That explains why the Council was so determined to keep us apart, Jack said. Together, we could challenge their control. Incoming transmission, Ben announced. It's from the Syndicate flagship. The view screen changed to show Alan Peters, his human disguise now completely abandoned. His true form was insect-like, with multiple compound eyes and mandibles that clicked as he spoke. What have you done? He hissed. Do you understand what you're unleashing? The architects were dangerous fools who nearly destroyed the galaxy with their weapons programs. You lied to us, Jack replied calmly. Both our species. You were supposed to be caretakers, not jailers. We maintained peace. Peters clicked angrily. For thousands of years, we kept the balance of power. If Deathworlders unite, that balance will be destroyed. Kira stepped forward. You feared us because you couldn't control us. How many other species have you manipulated? How many have you kept from their true potential? The station shuddered as the Syndicate ships fired on the energy barrier. Barrier holding, Sam reported. But they're bringing in reinforcements. Council battleships are entering the nebula. They're desperate, Kira observed. They know once this information spreads, their power will end. The holographic architect spoke again. Activation protocols require synchronized authorization from both genetic subject species. Full station capabilities await command. Jack looked at Kira. What do you think? Do we trust million-year-old alien technology? Do we have a choice? She replied. The Council is sending everything they have to stop us. After a moment's consideration, Jack nodded. Let's do this together. They each placed a hand on the holographic control interface. The system scanned their genetic patterns, and the station's energy surged to new levels. Command accepted, the architects announced. Broadcasting activation signal to all dormant facilities across known space. Multiple energy signatures detected, Sam exclaimed. Similar stations are activating throughout the galaxy. On the view screen, they watched as Council ships were caught in tractor beams, immobilized by technology far beyond their understanding. What's happening? Lisa asked. The network is neutralizing their weapons, Ben explained, reading from his console. And it's broadcasting the truth to every corner of the galaxy, every world, every colony. They're all receiving the Architect's archives. Incoming transmissions from both Earth Alliance and the Vraxian Empire, Ben reported excitedly. They've received our data packets. Both governments are demanding explanations from the Council. And multiple other species are rising up against Council control. Jack turned to Kira, a smile forming on his face. It seems the galaxy is ready for change. Revolution, Kira agreed. led by Deathworlders. The station's hologram shifted, showing a map of the galaxy with countless points of light representing other awakening facilities. The voice of the architects spoke one final time. Phase 1 complete. Genetic subjects have reached maturity and cooperation threshold. Preparing for Phase 2. Defense against the Harvesters. Estimated arrival. Within 1 galactic year. Jack's smile faded. Harvesters? What are harvesters? A hologram showed a dark mass approaching from beyond the galaxy's edge. It seems, Kira said solemnly, that there was a reason we were created as weapons after all.